I just knocked something over. Again. Alrighty, so now it's time to do a vlog because everyone wants to know what happened over my Christmas experience, right? Right. Um, so let's see. The December 20th was the day that we left, and I technically still had school that day, but I didn't go. And I got all my stuff from my teachers and everything ahead of time, so I'm being a good student and not missing anything important. Yeah, so I drove 93 miles. I drove basically to Chicago. Nothing terrible happened until I was trying to get off by Chicago, and then my dad wouldn't stop talking when he wasn't supposed to, and so it kept distracting me because he was like, "Get off here," and I couldn't get off because there were people behind me, but he wasn't looking, so he couldn't see them. And then we stopped there for lunch at this really, really interesting food marketplace. And so it was called Shop and Save, but I think it was more just it was like this because it was in a really like Polish area of Chicago. And so it had a huge meat market area, and then it had a big fish area. And they had a lot of different cheeses and foods from around the world. Most of the workers could actually speak Polish and German and stuff like that fluently, and a lot of the customers were speaking that language too, and I could hear them. They had these like things that were like chocolate covered plums were being sold. They had canned squid was the thing that was sold there, and fish eggs, and all sorts of other really really exotic type things that you don't really see much. They had a whole case of pierogies, which are a Polish food that we actually do eat. It's actually we got a recipe for it, and I'm really hoping I'll be able to do a video making it to show you guys how pierogies are made because I am a proud member of the people who have Polish genes in them. So my dad's family, I think his like great great grandma came here from Poland, so he's pretty very Polish. Anyhow, so that was a really interesting place, and being boring children like we are, all three of the kids got fried chicken and uh, French fries for our lunch. But my mom bought some prosciutto ham and some of this black forest salami, green forest salami, something like that, and she and dad shared that. They also got some exotic cheeses. They got one from Spain, one from Greece, and one from Ireland. I didn't try any of that because I'm a boring child and I didn't want to get car sick. So, but it was really interesting. And then my dad drove the rest of the way, and we actually drove to my mom's parents' house first. Usually we go to my dad's parents' house first because it's in Ohio, but we started with my mom's parents' house because that would make the time for everybody to visit everybody work okay. And we got there a day before the rest of the people who were visiting got there, and also we slept in the basement, which is a little different than how it usually is done, but because there were 14 people there that year, because we had 3 extra ones, we had it arranged differently. So normally we all sleep in my mom's brother's old bedroom, but this year we all slept in the basement, which wasn't terrible, except for that I just kind of worried a little bit about people messing with what I had out when they were playing down there. But my stuff was off in sort of like a secluded corner area, so that was okay. Because I brought the tablet to make sure people were all right, and they wanted to play with it a lot. Um, and then, so while we were there, we made gingerbread houses out of graham crackers, and we actually had to leave before we got to decorate them, unfortunately, but we did try to bring them home with us. So maybe we have some gingerbread houses to decorate, and I can send pics of those to people if they want, or I don't know. We'll have to see. Um, what else did we do? Well, we had Christmas. So what happened was the day we got there, the next day, everyone else got there. Like after lunch, kind of like close to dinner time. Everyone else was my aunt, who is from Colombia, came in one car with her 2 kids and her niece. And then my uncle, who is married to her and is not from Colombia, got there with my aunt's 2 sisters. And she has been living in America for about 7 years because she came here to live with her husband, my uncle. And he learned Spanish to court her, basically. And so that was really interesting. They've had a life experiences. Anyhow, she hasn't been able to see her sisters for a really long time. So two of her sisters and one of them has a daughter. They came up here and they're spending 2 weeks with them. And so they came to Christmas with us. And they were really nice and they actually gave people presents, which they didn't have to do because they don't know any of us, but that was really nice of them. And we didn't know they were coming, so we didn't get them anything, unfortunately, but they did end up getting presents, which is good because otherwise it would have been really awkward. And because of we didn't end up going to the church service, so we had one at home, and we sang Christmas carols in both English and Spanish. So that was a really cool experience. Is trying because I don't speak Spanish, but I'm able to pretend like I do a little bit if I have the words in front of me, and it was really interesting. And they were all really good singers, and they were also all really nice. We had a lot of food, but it turns out that basically I eat probably like on days that I'm not like worrying about how much it is, I basically eat just a normal amount anyways. They're more about days that I'm just like whatever and I'm just tracking it to see what it is. It's just like about between 1 and 2,000, usually more than 1,500, but about that in calories. So that was an interesting thing I took note of. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of what else we did. We had Christmas with them, and we had the service, and, yeah, so we had to leave the day that we did the Christmas stuff after, like, the Christmas feast, but it was, like, in the afternoon, and since it was so late, I didn't drive, because, I didn't want to drive at night, so we drove back to my dad's parents' house, and, we got there pretty late, so we just went to bed right away. And then the next day, the cousins were already there, but their parents and some other uncles and aunts were staying at a hotel, so everybody finally got there, and we had breakfast together. There's Kringle, and I guess it's made in Wisconsin in Racine, but it's this thing and it's so good, and I don't know what it is exactly, but it's like this pastry, and it's like a pastry ring it's kind of flat, but it's a ring, like a big ring oval shape, and it's rolled up pastry with a filling of like jam, but also like kind of cream cheese, but really sugary frosting stuff inside of it. And then it's got the same stuff on the outside. And so you can have like a jam one, but then there was also a pecan one. And then sometimes there's blueberry, and there's some that are just the cheese stuff. They're so good. So we did Christmas, and the kids went to the pool. I just stayed home and hung out, and I did planks with my aunt because she was like, "We should just do planks," and I was like, "Okay, let's do planks." And then we had an awkward conversation because I was like, "I'm doing clubs, and I'm the vice president of the GSA," and then they wanted to know what that was and why it existed, and so I explained it, and nobody seemed very offended. So I think I did okay. But I don't know. I always feel kind of awkward when people ask me about that, not because I'm like ashamed to talk about it or anything, but just because I feel like I'm not well enough equipped to give like great information about it because I know how it is from my experience and I know enough about it to like say that I know about it, but I'm not the most knowledgeable about it. And so when people ask me some sorts of questions, I'm just like, so yeah. But it seemed to go okay. And yeah, so then we did Christmas there, and then we had sort of a chill time, and then we went to that was Christmas Eve, I guess. Yeah, so Christmas Eve we had Christmas there, and then we went to my great aunt's house. Normally it was my great grandma's house, but she died this Easter, and so we went there, and she wasn't there obviously, but we were still hanging out there. And Santa came, and the kids got presents. I think I got like a spinning glowing top thing and a little notebook with a pen thing. All the cousin grandkid things get basically the same stuff, and I probably really wasn't gonna use that, so I think I like gave it to my brother and sister. But that's just like cause that happens kind of a lot. And then the next day we just hung out at my Nana's house for a while and played with the stuff that they'd gotten. Like my sister got a lot of archery stuff, so she got some like Nerf arrows, but she got some real ones. Like they don't have hunting points on them, but she's gotten really into that. My dad's taking her to an archery club. She is literally not even 10 yet, so that's how it is in my house. Right. So then I don't. Yeah. And then my great aunt, a different one, came to visit on the last day. We had brunch, we went to the park, and then we went home and I drove for 2 hours, which was 130 miles, about. Yeah, so we drove for, and then we got there about 8. We brought everything inside, and then I didn't really unpack, so today I did my unpacking, and now I'm doing these videos. And now it's now, and I'm still in my pajamas, which is basically how it will be for the rest of like time, because like we don't have time for clothes. What's that? Yeah, so that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's the end of all of the Christmas things. Not all of it, I guess. If I haven't put up the the one we haven't done yet. But we're doing that on New Year's Day. So that's probably not going to go up until January. But I don't want these ones to be late. So that's why I'm doing them now. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this Christmas series and being bombarded with videos for an entire month. And possibly the video amount will be decreasing after this. Not maybe a lot, but a little. So yeah. Bye!